May the force be with you, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. We are reviewing episode 3 of The Mandalorian season 3, now out on Disney+. Wow, I couldn't believe that what they did with this episode. We get so much nostalgia. It was great for prequel fans. But yeah, Akram, what were your overall thoughts on this episode?
Well, I think this episode, I love how season 3, every episode has a good mix of everything. There's mystery, there's sadness in a way from certain characters that we see, and then there's also amazing action sequences, especially with starfighters that we'll talk about in the spoiler review and more in depth at least. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, and we have a returning character as well, so really cool stuff.
Yeah, I loved it. It was kind of like finding your purpose in like a reformed world or reformed galaxy, right? Because this episode, we actually get a lot of stuff about the New Republic, which I thought was really nice. Yeah. I won't go too much in details, but we see, like you said, a returning character come back, and it was kind of like his perspective, like because he's an ex-imperial, and we kind of see like how things have changed in the galaxy since the fall of the Empire, and I really appreciate that, because it's like we saw in Andor what it was like during the rise of the Empire, but now it's like the rise of the New Republic. So I really appreciate those little moments. And and Mando and Bo-Katan kind of go through their own journey as well, and I think they're slowly becoming allies. I don't think we're gonna see them as enemies, but things could change. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we went a lot in depth in the episode 2 review with Bo-Katan. I cannot wait to see her new arc, her new journey. I think it's going to be really like probably a reformation of some sorts. As everybody knows, that big ass thing that came out of the water or was in the water last episode. I would have liked to see more of that. Unfortunately, they hopefully it makes a return a little bit later on. This episode is really centered on mysterious elements and kind of like a way of reformation. I think probably this season is actually one of the main themes is like reformation and trying to make good out of the past. So I really like the way how this is headed. And perhaps the theme could twist and then show everybody this new type of future. Something different than that we see it in the sequels. Something that we could explore later on in the franchise. So really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of building its way up towards the sequel trilogy, because there's a lot of things that we see that kind of like are the setups for things to come. I really enjoyed like seeing certain planets back in this episode, because it was a really nice touch, and it's so nice to see live action too.
Yeah.
I think this episode was, like you said, talks a lot about like reformation, about kind of building a new life for yourself. As we see with this character and Bo-Katan as well. I think the starfighter combat in this episode is really nice too.
Ooh, perfect.
Everything just kind of blends together like really well in this series.
And the CGI too. My goodness, just like normal scenes, the CGI was amazing. It's what you would expect from The Mandalorian anyway, but it just keeps surprising me because we see so many other projects where the CGI is just kind of iffy. This one I think was a really beautiful showcase. My goodness. And then also the character development for sure. I think it's more intimate in a way in this season. There's a lot of personal stories being told here as well. So I appreciate that. I hope that next episode at least will get more of a bigger type of scenario, if you catch my drift. Because it seems like it's headed that way. And this mystery maybe is going to be unraveled. And it has probably something to do with Bo-Katan too. Because there seems to be like a connection. We'll go more in depth in the spoiler review. Yeah,
I agree. It kind of feels like it's building up towards something bigger in a way, or this bigger looming threat. But it was nice that it was kind of like this nice side story, back and forth. But I think it'll reconnect towards, the middle half of the series.
What would you rate this episode, as we always say?
Man, it felt so different. Because it really didn't get much out of Mando's perspective, which a lot of these episodes do. It's usually from Din Djarin or Grogu. Yeah, man, I really love this episode because it just added so much to the lore building and the world building of Star Wars. Just from like these little moments. I always love when like from Andor, like where we see like kind of like the small guy's perspective. So I think this episode did a really nice job of doing that. So If I had to rate this episode, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. How about you?
I think I would give it a 9 out of 10. It was really different from what we've seen in the previous episodes. So I'm all for it, to be honest with you. It's a nice showcase of exploring different character mentalities and also different parts of the galaxy and these planets, and a lot of nice callbacks as well. So definitely for sure. But yeah, everybody, that is our review. Dylan, why don't you take us away?
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to check out our spoiler review where we're going to go in depth more into the episode. Check out our other reviews as well. Check out our other playlists. We're doing a lot more shows for the rest of the month. But yeah, we're also on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as well. But yeah, thank you guys again. Until then, this is the way.
This is the way. See you guys.